an active duty Air Force major, stood on the steps of the United States Capitol, calling for the impeachment and removal of President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. He said before he ever walked onto those Capitol steps that he expected to be arrested. He knew his military career was probably over. So the question isn't just why was he arrested? The real question is, was this an act of conscience or an act of insubordination? What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Mind of M1. Today we're talking about Air Force Major Jason Watson, his protest, his arrest, what military law actually says, and why this story is so much more bigger than politics.
Never has so much destruction been levied in our history as a result of so few people taking action. And Congress has the ability to end this today, tomorrow, any time of their choosing. Why aren't they? Why are we still here? Why are we dealing with all of this? I don't have an answer, and I don't think that they've given us one.
Now here's what makes this situation different. People protest every day, but military officers don't. Military members have constitutional rights, but they voluntarily accept additional restrictions, especially while wearing uniform, representing the military, participating in partisan political activity, and that's where things get complicated. He literally said, "I know I'm probably gonna be arrested." He also said, "I may have to serve jail time, and my military career is probably over."
Cannot believe what I've just witnessed here today. An active duty commissioned officer with the United States Air Force just made an historic public statement. I don't think this has ever been done in American history. He has called for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of the sitting president, his commander-in-chief. For anybody who's a civilian and don't understand the gravity of this active duty officer in uniform just ended his military career. He is under the jurisdiction of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and under that code, he cannot speak out against the president. That means he is going to be arrested. He is going to be court-martialed, and he will almost definitely be put in prison. So I'm right here with Major Watson, the guy who just made this heroic stance. Major, a lot of people, a lot of civilians don't understand the gravity of what you just did. Obviously, you understand it. You understand you just threw your military career and everything away. Talk to us about why you did that, where you found the courage to do that, and what this means for you going forward.
Well, I mean, like I said during the speech, this all comes down to my oath. This is what I believe is the best way for me to honor that oath. There's a lot of nuances that'll come out later about my thoughts about active duty service members. This is unique to me, and I'm not calling for others to do something similar, with only just a few caveats. But what I've sacrificed essentially is my 17-year career is gone. I should expect that there will be criminal prosecution, and I will probably spend some time in jail.
I want to be the first one. Thank you so much for your courage. Appreciate you. This is the part of the timeline where active duty service members, in this case, a commissioned officer, have had enough. Have you? We should have his back. We should be in the streets and we should have his back. This was a powerful display. Honestly brought me to tears. We stand with you, Major Watson.
This wasn't somebody claiming they didn't know. He openly accepted the possible consequences before doing it. I personally commend Major Jason Watson for not only his stance, but his protest. Because he had the courage to stand up when he felt like his government was being tyrannical, and still made the sacrifice knowing that his 17-year career may possibly be over. Possible jail time, and if charged under UCMJ, could also lose his retirement, GI Bill benefits, and access to Veteran Affairs support system. If you call yourself a true American, you should not only be pissed, but you should also stand with Major Jason Watson, especially our YT counterparts. Y'all be having all the smoke for me in my comments, wishing death and all type of vile racist things towards Carmelo Anthony for simply defending himself, but go silent and have no smoke for the ones that have their foots on all of our necks. Gas is high, food is high, it damn near costs just to breathe. And in this country, we all collectively have the tools and resources to eliminate poverty and suffering entirely. Hell, Elon Musk is worth $1 trillion. Just a thought. If you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored one, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll open his pockets for you. Lyndon B. Johnson, 60 plus years, and nothing has changed.
Jason Paul Watson, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. When the President of the United States orders military action against foreign countries, absent an emergency scenario where American interests are under imminent, dire threats, as was done with Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran, that's an unconstitutional usurpation of Congress's authority and a violation of the War Powers Clause. These violations resulted in the deaths of 13 service members and the injuries of hundreds more. For this, the President and Vice President must be impeached, convicted, and removed. When the President of the United States grants an unelected megadonor sweeping authority to shut down large swaths of our federal government, along with unrestricted access to our government databases, that's an unconstitutional circumvention of Congress's advise and consent authority under the Appointments Clause and Congress's power of the purse under the Appropriations Clause. These violations exposed every American's personal sensitive data to leaks and exploitation, illegally terminated tens of thousands of federal civil servants, and crippled support to Americans for medical care and disaster preparedness, and by far most tragically, resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of the world's most impoverished people with inhumanely abrupt cessation of U.S. aid. When the President of the United States directs the Department of Homeland Security to deny hundreds of people any due process before illegally detaining them and sending them to a foreign prison notorious for human rights abuses, that's a violation of our Fifth and Eighth Amendment rights. Most people sent to CCOT never committed any violent crimes in their entire lives, but are being defamed as violent criminals to this day as a pretext for the torture they suffered in El Salvador, paid for with U.S. taxpayer dollars.
Now here's possible punishment he may face. Potential issues include violating Department of Defense political activity rules, possible Uniform Code of Military Justice violations, administrative separation, loss of career, and potential court-martial depending on what investigators conclude. We don't know exactly what or if military charges will ultimately be brought because the investigation is still developing.
When the President of the United States sponsors violence on the American people, engaged in their constitutional right to peacefully assemble and protest, that's a violation of our First Amendment rights. Pastors praying for DHS agents violently attacked without provocation. A legal observer losing an eye after being shot with a non-lethal by an ICE agent. A woman attempting to follow chaotic and contradictory DHS agent instructions fatally gunned down. A subdued man that posed no threat fatally shot after having his unbrandished firearm removed, with statements by high-ranking cabinet members also violating our Second Amendment rights. For this, the President and Vice President must be impeached, convicted, and removed.
Was he right? What should we expect from our military officers? Should they remain politically neutral, or should they speak out if they believe that leadership is harming the country? Because if the rules only apply when you believe in them, then they're not rules anymore. Oh shit! I believe every citizen has the right to hold their own political opinions. But military service carries responsibilities that regular civilians don't have. Whether you agree with Jason Watson or you completely disagree, the story raises important questions about freedom of speech, military discipline, and the balance between individual conscience and institutional rules.
This Major Jason Watson, not good. Alright, this person, I'm not even going to call him what he is because they're going to get demoted if not kicked out, violated an oath that he took. He rose his right hand and he swore to defend the Constitution of the United States and the officers appointed over him, including the President of the United States.
Wrong! He swore and took an oath to the Constitution, not an administration. And that includes protecting against enemies both foreign and domestic. Did y'all forget that? People who think like this are the reason why we are in the predicament we are in today in this country. And the people in power reflect the mentality of a large portion of the people in this country. Now, before y'all jump into my comments, which are racist and ignorant sentiments, please know how to spell, use the right words in the right context, do research, and get factual information before you jump on Fred Hampton's internet and say some shit that's factually incorrect. And they say we are the uneducated, low IQ ones. And lastly, for those of you who are in my comments talking about my gap and your mouth looks like this,
God damn!
I'd rather keep the gap, player.
Hello, friends. I just left the Capitol grounds, and I was there to witness a major in the United States military bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. He stood for impeachment of the president on the Capitol grounds, and thereafter he walked up the steps where he was arrested and he was taken away. This is a kind of courage necessary to inspire others to understand that liberty and justice for all that we pledge allegiance to is something that we can make real. It's more than an ideal. It is something that can be real for every person in this country if we but only have the courage to take the stand that Major Watson took.
I believe every citizen has the right to their own political opinions. But military service carries responsibilities that regular civilians don't have. Whether you agree with Jason Watson or you totally disagree, the story raises important questions about our freedom of speech, military discipline, and the balance between individual conscience and institutional rules.
Also, if you missed it, publicity stunts, they illuminate a lot. And so essentially an Air Force captain yesterday fucking got arrested for saying a president who said he made $1.5 billion in crypto in 2025 alone, he said he was corrupt and he got arrested. And no one's speaking out for him. No Republicans give a shit. Apparently they hate the military. Apparently it's worse than fucking North Korea with these people.
What do you think? Should an active duty military officer be allowed to protest in uniform? Or should the military remain completely apolitical? I'm interested in hearing your perspective. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hype me up in the algorithm, because we got a lot more coming. This is M1 Music. Peace.